put it on our YouTube. EOP has a YouTube. That's where all of the subsectors upload their workshops. If you ever miss one, usually there's a recording. Okay, it's recording. Okay, I'm gonna start reintroduce myself. Hello everyone, thank you so much for coming. This is the Let's Get LinkedIn workshop, and today we're gonna go over like how to network and market yourself effectively. And today this workshop has been brought to you by Educational Opportunity Programs 2021 to 2022 peer advising leaders. I'm a peer advising leader. If you ever have any more questions about what peer advising leader is, you can always ask me. I could tell you some brief things. Basically, self-explanatory. I help peers by advising them. So like if you're an EOP student, you could go to drop-in hours. It's on the EOP UCSC link tree. And there's a drop-in sheet, or you could just drop into the Zoom whenever you'd like. And you could even come into the office. In the EOP Pals highlight, we have our drop-in hours there, so you see what time you could come in and when not. But yeah, I'm here to serve you all with any questions you have regarding school, scholarships, financial aid, or just if you need someone to talk to. I'm always here, and so are the rest of the pals. Thank you to the people who just joined. I really appreciate your presence here. And yeah, we're gonna go ahead and move on. So today's agenda is going to be, we're gonna check in and have our little introductions. Then we're gonna get into it, LinkedIn 101, talk about how to make ourselves marketable. And then we're gonna have our final thoughts and set our goals for the future. Any questions about that? And if y'all ever have any questions, you could always stop me or raise your hand, and then we'll get to that. But I did allocate sometimes for questions. I'll ask y'all at the end of every segment. All right, let's keep going. So I'm gonna start with an introduction of myself. Who am I? I'm Zitlaly Martinez Hernandez. You don't have to remember all of that. My name is just Zitlaly, and I'm your EOP pal. My pronouns are she, they. I'm 21 years old, and I'm a fourth year intensive psychology and LALS double major with a minor in politics. And I also happen to be co-chair for HAU, an RA for Porter College, and a pal, as you know. And because I'm a fourth year, this is why I wanted to have this workshop, because I wish I had a LinkedIn since my first year, because it would have been so nice now. I just created my LinkedIn this year, and I feel like I've been missing out. I've always heard people talk about it, and I'm like, I don't know. I just kept putting it out later. Oh, I don't have anything to put on. No, even if you feel like you're not qualified or you don't have anything to put onto your LinkedIn, there's always something, because each one of us have something to contribute to the workspace that we enter, or any space we enter, because we all have a different perspective and different skills. So don't ever doubt yourself. You have a lot to offer, and you have to keep that mindset as you continue to network and continue to look at new opportunities. Never stray back. And the job titles I want in the future, I don't have yet, but the job titles I want, and we're going to get into this a little more in the next slide, are a family, social, or environmental psychologist. And I want to be an education reform specialist or an educational legislator. These are my main focuses and goals I have for the future. And we're going to get into it right here. So first, to start this workshop off, I think it's really important for all of us to identify what job titles we each want. When you identify the job title you want, it helps you create your LinkedIn to cater to that, because on LinkedIn, there's people called recruiters. And basically, when they're looking for people to fill positions, they'll go onto LinkedIn and they'll type in some keywords let me type in, let's say I said educational legislator. So let's say okay, let's see education, and any accounts that have education in their title or somewhere in their profile will pop up, and then they'll message them, hey, are you interested in this job? Hey, are you that? Because you could say you're interested in everything, but most recruiters and people looking to hire people are already aware that people, professional people or just students, are interested in expanding their knowledge. So they already know that we're open to opportunities and new experiences. So you don't need to say, I'm interested in everything in the world, or I have 50 interests. No, you have to keep it very focused to get exactly what you want, because it's better to have a job that you want and is really ooh, iPhone entered the waiting room. It's funny when there's someone called iPhone. I always see that and I'm like, oh, wow, iPhone. But anyways, going back to what I was saying, sorry y'all. It's more important to focus on what you really, really want because that's gonna benefit you in the long run. Of course, like you could take like other jobs that aren't exactly your focus, but this will just make that process easier. And that way, when you share your LinkedIn with someone, they'll see exactly what you want. And let's say you make connections on LinkedIn, you have a friend, they look over, they see an opportunity like, oh, here's like in my case, here's a psychology opportunity. Wait, I think that Zitlaly had psychology as one of her main interests. Let me go check her LinkedIn. Oh, she does. Let me forward this opportunity to her, just like that. So that's why it's really important. So I'm gonna give y'all like 2 minutes to figure out what job title you want. I want to share a link with you with a bunch of job titles just so you get your ideas going because there might be a job title you don't even know yet. So let me stop sharing really quick and share this link with y'all. And again, if you have any questions, let me know. This is the list I kind of based mine off of, but also you don't have to use this list in specific. Um, but yeah, I shared it in the chat. Let me know if it worked for everyone. And there's just a bunch of listed jobs. So you could control F, like kind of like something that you think you like, and just like choose one, just for now, or a few if you know what you want. And then I'm gonna give y'all 2 minutes to do that. And that's gonna be our check-in question. So here we go. 2 minutes. You could also Google anything too. This is just what I thought would help. Take your time, really get into it. Again, if you have any questions, let me know. I'm right here. If you already have your job title, go ahead and put your thumbs up. And if not, it's okay. Take your time. And this may not even be what you decide you want to be in the future, but this is just a starting point to get your LinkedIn started and get you in the flow of things. But yeah. All right. I like 2 more people. No rush. You have about 35 seconds. And then we'll go ahead and get started with introductions. All right, 30 seconds. It's a really lovely day today. The weather's pretty nice. I hope y'all have had a chance to appreciate it. Go outside for a bit. Maybe after this workshop, you could go out. It's a really nice day. All right, we got about 10 seconds left. Okay. And time. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with whoever wants to go. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have, let me share screen once again. We're gonna have everyone go and share what job title they want in the future and what you know about LinkedIn right now, as well as your name and pronouns. You could share also your major if you feel like it, but it's okay. So your name, pronouns, what job title you want, and what do you know about LinkedIn right now? Does anyone want to go ahead and get us started?
I can go first. So, hi everyone, I'm Daniela. I'm a second year, use she, her, ella pronouns, and I'm double majoring in psychology and Spanish studies. And I eventually want to become a social worker. Don't know what type specifically, but the job title that I found interesting on the link that you shared with us, Zitlaly, is the public health social worker jobs. And what I know about LinkedIn, I've had LinkedIn since I think winter quarter of my freshman year. So I've had it for like a little bit over a year. And what I've known about it is just that a lot of jobs hire people through LinkedIn. And so I've had it for like a year and a half because of that, and I guess it's like some sort of like electronic resume where other like employers can look for you there.
That was a great response. Thank you so much, Daniela, for that. I'm glad you got some interesting job titles off of the list. Thank you. Does anyone else want to go and share next?
I can go. My name's Kayla. I go by she, her pronouns. I'm a second year also, and I'm a sociology and legal studies major right now. I think one of the job titles that like stood out to me was being an educational counselor. Because like I do value education a lot, and like EOP has like helped me a lot and like bridge. So I thought like maybe like go around that path. I'm not sure like 100% yet. And then like for LinkedIn, I don't know a lot. I do also know that it's kind of like Daniela said, like an electronic resume platform, I guess. And I have set it up, but I don't have it like up to date, I guess.
Thank you for sharing, Kayla. Yeah. If you're interested in like that, I feel like this position, the PALS position, is currently hiring. So if any of y'all are interested, but you specifically, Kayla, since you mentioned you're interested in education and all of that, the PALS are hiring. You should definitely apply just to get you in there. But yeah, thank you so much for sharing. Does anyone else want to go next?
I can go. Hi, everyone. My name is Viviana. I'm a second year film and digital media major, and I use she, her pronouns. And the job title I'd want is like, I don't know what kind of producer, but I'd want to be a producer. And maybe like an executive producer, I guess. Um, and so what I know about LinkedIn is how important it is to like building your network and like getting those connections. Cause like, at least for my field, it's like, you know, you're a friend of a friend, or you get this job because you know somebody. So yeah, I've just heard it's really important, and yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, you're totally right with everything you said about LinkedIn. Thank you. Who wants to go next?
I can go next. So my name is Kathy. I'm a third year computer science major, and I guess the title that I would want would be like software engineer. And right now that I know that LinkedIn is used a lot, like during the recruiting process and to reach out to people and just to, like network in general.
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing, Kathy. Y'all have some interesting jobs like that you have in mind right now. The one you said, Viviana, really caught my mind. Like that one's really cool. I haven't looked into that. Does anyone else want to share?
I can go. I'm Diana. I am a third year transfer student. I am majoring in sociology and LALS. And the job title that I would like to have is lawyer. And I used to have LinkedIn, and then I deleted it like 2 years ago, but now I have it again. So I really want to learn like how to do it right, I guess this time.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. And I think we're all doing LinkedIn right, but there's definitely some things that are better. Some tips are better that we're not aware of. It's not always accessible. So that's why I wanted to host this workshop for all of us, because there's some tips and tricks that we need to be utilizing, you know? Thank you. Does anyone else want to go?
I can go. I think I'm like the only person who hadn't gone at this point. Good afternoon, everybody. Maurice. You can just call me Mo for short. He, him, his pronouns. I serve as a academic counselor for EOP, program coordinator for the peer advising leaders. And I am not in school. I don't have a major anymore. But if you'd like to learn about my previous majors and another conversation, feel free to plan an appointment with me, because I'm an academic counselor and I'd love to hear about you a little bit more. But if there was a job title that I'd want, it would probably be president, not of the world, but of a university, if not chancellor of a university. But I've been sort of rethinking that, and so we'll see what the next step or steps are to get me in the right direction. But what do I know about LinkedIn? I know I have an account that I haven't been using, and I've had a LinkedIn since I was since I was in college, which is a long time ago. And I usually used it for communication with different jobs, to like kind of highlight myself and other things that I've done on my resume or skills that I've done. And another way to network with folks that are hiring or looking at potential candidates, or just want to stay network in a professional world. So just a little bit of what I know about LinkedIn, but I'll shut up now.
No, it's okay. Thank you so much for sharing, Mo. And I believe in you with all your dreams and goals. Manifest it. I love that. I love that goal. The president and chancellor, we definitely could use someone like you in that position. Thank you so much for sharing. So we're gonna go ahead and move on, everyone. And also, don't forget to follow us, EOP, EOP UCSC on everything. We also have a LinkedIn. So connect with us on LinkedIn, the EOP UCSC page. And yeah. So we already went over this. Let's get LinkedIn then. So I'm gonna go ahead and okay, the 3 quick fixes, top to bottom. Can I go to the slide behind it? I want to show y'all my LinkedIn so you could kind of visualize what we're about to go through right now. I'm gonna cut the segments. We're gonna go top to bottom about things we could fix about our profile or update. So this is currently mine, and it just started looking like this when I started planning this workshop. So don't even worry. Like, it took me a while to get here. I used to have like a selfie with like a filter on it. It was not looking professional. But this is my LinkedIn. So as you see, I have the flyer, I have my email, I have a professional headshot, and I have my name here. I have my title, EOP peer advising leader, and I put my interests here. I'm going to touch on this more in a bit, but I'm just doing a brief overview. I have my about section updated, my featured stuff. I've been kind of active because I've been promoting the PALS activity. I have all my experience listed. I have 17 experiences. I did not hold back. I put everything back to high school, like everything, like all my little jobs and everything, my certifications, my education and skills, which if you take a notice, I've been endorsed by someone on my skills, which I will also touch on in a bit, and interests. So anyone that you connect with. So if you follow us, EOP, like we would show up on your interests. So that's just what LinkedIn looks like if you don't have any experience with it. Or even if you do, just taking a look at it. Back to the presentation. So we're gonna get LinkedIn right now. Okay, is there something on the chat? Oh, of course. So the 3 quick fixes, again, the profile photo, the main thing, your profile photo. You know how they say like you don't judge a book by its cover. On LinkedIn, they will judge you by your cover. They will judge you by your profile photo. They really will, because you need to have like something sort of professional. Like, and that doesn't mean you have to get like a official photographer and stuff. You just need a headshot, like shoulders up. You could take that picture by yourself, like with the timer, or have a friend take a picture of you in like good lighting with like a plain background, and just have it shoulder up, smile, and no selfies or filters. That's a really big no-no. When recruiters are looking at stuff and they see that, it like turns them off. They're like, no, like next person, because they're not taking this seriously if they have a filtered photo as their profile picture. That's what they think. But if you have a professional headshot, like the picture I'm talking about, shoulders up, smiling, background, like just looking put together, you get 14 times more views on your profile. So you're going to be coming up as suggested more to people. And also when people look things up, you're going to be coming up more, like they're just going to be looking at you more. And you get 9 times more connection requests. So that means if a random person is looking at your LinkedIn and they see that you have a good profile photo, and any of these 3 things, if they see that that's put together, they're probably going to put a connection request. And it's always good to connect with people, even if you don't always know them. It's just better to have people in your field of study and field of interests. That way, if they are promoting opportunities and vice versa, like y'all can connect about it. It opens the opportunities up for you. So yeah, again, shoulders up. You don't need a fancy fit. And I'm gonna show an example of someone else's LinkedIn profile, like their picture. They're literally wearing a t-shirt, but like since it's just shoulders up, you can't really tell. It's just a headshot mainly. And the smile is a really good thing. You could take a serious picture, but if you're smiling, they're just like, I want to talk to that person. Let's connect. You get me? And the next thing is the headline. So the headline is the title, like what your main job is. So you're going to put the job that you're holding right now, and also like industry specific keywords. So when I showed you my profile, I had peer advising leader because that's the only job I'm holding currently. And then after that, I put like my like specific keywords for my industry and like my specializations in the peer advising leader job, because that helps again, like when recruiters are typing in keywords, they're looking for that. So it's a very important to have that. It might make your title look longer, but it really does help. Like it really does help people find you and send you opportunities. And lastly, for the third quick fix is the about section. A lot of people don't use that because they're like, oh, it's whatever, no one's looking at it, or it's, I don't want to write in about me. No, it really, really is important to do that because that sets you apart. Because if they type in the keyword, like, let's say like law, a lot of people have that law keyword and they're like, okay, what sets this person apart? And they see that you don't have an about me. They're like, okay, how am I supposed to find out more? Like I see their jobs, I see their interests and stuff, but I want to know about them. Like what are they most proud of? Because the about me section, you are allowed to use I and me there, versus in a resume, you try to keep it more professional and you avoid using I and me in a resume. But in the about me on LinkedIn, you can use that. And you touch on your passions, your goals, and your strengths further. You could use bulletin points or you can use paragraphs. It's kind of up to you. But as I was researching for this workshop, it seems that using paragraphs comes off as more personable and also is more like, it's more attractive to people who are looking to read in about me when they see like the paragraphs. But you could also do a hybrid version. But you could add any resources or links on there as well, or any projects that you're working on. So we're gonna move on. Any questions about these right now before I move on? It's a lot of info, I know, but we got this. No questions? All right, y'all, we're gonna move on. So the example, so you see here, this lady, Heather Austin, she has her job title, career strategy expert and YouTube creator, and then she puts the little line, specializing in resume writing, LinkedIn training, and interview coaching. So that's really important. You put your job title, then what you're specializing in. And that's how it shows up when people look her up. See, in everything she writes, it comes up there. So if people are just looking at posts too, they see that, they're like, okay, interesting. And going back to my profile, just to show you again how I did it for my peer advising job, I put EOP peer advising leader, specializing in academic advising, community outreach, social media, higher education, and research. So that's what I put. So if anyone's putting that keyword in, they're gonna see me, they're gonna find me, and they're gonna recruit me for whatever position. So yeah, that's very important. Let me go back to presentation mode. All right. So now it's y'all's turn to work on your profile picture, your headline, and about section. You may not be able to finish it all up right now because due to time, I'm going to be going a little faster. But it's a good tip to try to work on your LinkedIn at least like 10 minutes a day. And if that's not possible, just try to work on it like at least like once or twice per week or every other day. That way it's not overwhelming working on it like all in one day, because that way you could consistently look at other people's profiles and kind of get a feel for what you want to add onto yours. You might see someone else's profiles, keywords that you want to use, you know what I mean? So yeah, your turn to work on it. The profile picture, again, try to look for one that you have right now and just kind of crop it shoulder up, a nice picture facing forward, nice lighting, the headline, the job title that we chose in the beginning for the check-in, and some keywords, or the job title you hold now. And if you don't have a job title, just put what you specialize in. So your major, and then your about section, and go in on it. I'm gonna set aside like I'm gonna put like 6 minutes for us to work on that, or 5 minutes, and then if you need more time, let me know, and then I'll check in with y'all. Any questions? Does everyone have access to their LinkedIn right now? All right. I want to put 5 minutes, then we'll
I
check
have a
in.
question.
Oh yeah, of course.
So, like, what if our job, it's like something we want to work up to? So, like, would it come off like weird or harsh, or I don't know, like I'm too ambitious by not starting at like a entry level job?
I think that there's nothing wrong with being ambitious. Can I ask you what job you're trying to work up to?
Oh, sorry. Ugh, it almost kicked me out. I was trying to work up to like a product executive producer, but I think like for my position, starting off, I think I have to start off at like, or it can start off anywhere, but like preferably like a production assistant and then work my way up. But I'm not sure if it like comes off like
So
I don't know.
yeah, I get what you're saying. No, you're so valid. I think that what I would advise you to do right now for your title, so you don't hold any of those positions right now, or do you hold one of those right now?
No, I don't.
Okay, so what I would ask you to do right now is look at like if you could look up like keywords for those positions, or like if you off the top of your head know what type of things those positions do, list
Mhm.
that, be like specializing in blank, blank, and blank. So that way people
Oh,
know that you specialize in it. And for those positions, it will make you more eligible. Do you get what I'm saying?
okay. Yeah, thank you.
Of course, of course. Any other questions? All right. Well, y'all can go ahead and work on that. I'm gonna try play a song or two. And we got 5 minutes.
I ain't tryna front no more. Ain't see you in once or more. You're all that I want for sure. Is this what you got? I'm sure. I ain't tryna front no more. Ain't see you in once or more. You're all that I want for sure.
Bitch, this time I got you. 12 months through Milwaukee. Bitch, I'm making bread. Sound like Pavarotti. Bitch, my Vaseline. You can't get it off me. Bitch, this not my scene. Vamos pa' Miami.
I had a question.
What's up?
For the education part on like your LinkedIn, let's say you're double majoring, how would you go about adding like both majors on it?
Yeah, it's a little complicated with that. I also have the same issue. I just put the main major, like the first one I chose, as of right now, but you could touch on that more in your about section. That's where I talked about how I'm double majoring and minoring. Does that
Okay.
answer?
Yeah, thank you.
Of course. Do y'all want more time? With a thumbs up if you're good, or if
I
you
have
want
a
more.
question. Sorry.
Of course, no,
Um,
don't apologize. Please
do
ask.
we put all this in the headline or do we put it in position? Or which
What are you talking about? What part?
like if we put like the job title and keywords, is that do we, or if we have positions, do we keep it all separate?
So the way that what I mean when I say keyword is you put the, if you have a job, you put your job and what you're specializing in. If you don't have the job, you would just put specializing in. Ooh, you would just put specializing in blank, blank, and blank, and the things that you're specializing in are the keywords.
Okay, thank you, sir.
First, does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. Do y'all one more time? Yes? No? Okay, maybe thumbs up if you want more time. If you want more time, put a thumbs up. Okay. Okay, then. We're gonna go ahead and move on. And of course, work on this at home. And you can also drop in to peer advising hours. And I could also help you one-on-one with this later if you'd like. So I'm gonna move on. Let me pause this music really quick. Okay, here we go. Next part. Now the other sections that are really important, or again, we're going top to bottom with the LinkedIn profile, is the experience and the education part. So experience, I touched on this a little bit, very similar to resume, paragraphs versus bullet points, result-driven achievements. So that just means you could use, well, I was telling y'all you could use paragraphs or bullet points when you're talking. The experience is like you put the job and then it asks you like, describe this experience, right? So you could put a sentence or two, but that's not really going to tell people what you did in that job. Like you could go ahead and copy like what the job description is and paste that. Okay, yeah, it kind of tells them, but like what people want to know, especially recruiters, are what did you get from that experience and what did you give? So that's what result driven achievement statements mean. So what was the result of your participation in this job or in this org or in this project? What did you learn? That's going to be more effective for people reading your account to see that, because let's say like, yeah, maybe like a few people have been research assistants and we all know what research assistants do. Okay, yada, yada, yada. But if someone says, in the research, I actually added to the research by bringing up very important points of blank, blank, and blank, or I learned this and I grew and I now have these skills from this experience, that's what people want to see in your experience section. So every time you add a job, not only do you need to explain what like daily tasks you have, but also take the extra step to add what you learned and what you gave to the position, what you believe you contributed to the space. And all of us contribute something to the space. You just gotta like think about it. And if you ever need help with that, you could always ask a peer, or you could ask your supervisor, your boss, your coworker, like ask them, what do you think I bring to the space? And they'll tell you, and you could use that. And it's really helpful. And with the education section, you want to list your most recent education and anything relevant. Only list high school if you haven't finished your BA or your BS. But after, okay, look at the typos. I'm so sorry, y'all. But afterwards, it's not necessary. And you could list vocational education as well. List any education you have. But as far as high school, it's not required to have that. Like if you're in college, people know you went to high school for the most part, or you have your GED. And it's actually recommended like after you graduate, just take the high school one off. Like it kind of is just like, why is it there? It's taking up space when you could be like, using something else. So that's the advice for that. So again, I'm gonna go ahead and show you my profile so you can see what I put. For an example, here we go. So if we go to my profile and we go to my experience, as y'all see, I really, really went in. Let me put show all 17 experiences. So I have here, and I still need to update this because I have my tasks, what I do and my major responsibilities as an intern in this place, but I didn't even put like what I'm contributing or what my major project is. So that's an F for me. Like I'm not doing that. As you can see, I could still grow too. Um see, like I haven't even updated it. But with this one, for the Renaissance Scholars, I actually did put with this program, we're implementing a flexible model where students will select a project category, proposer. No, I didn't put my project. You see, like no one's even gonna know what project I did in this internship because I didn't bring it up. I did an amazing project and everyone loved it, but I didn't include it. So they're just like, okay, you were an intern here, you were an intern there. What difference does that make? Are you just an intern or like are you doing something there other than the little tasks you have? Um yeah, I'm looking and I don't see that I actually said what I brought to this space. So that's something I'm gonna have to do after this. And then I have my other jobs. Of course, like these jobs are kind of like, part-time, like not as relevant to the job title I want. So you don't have to go into full detail for these unless you want to. That would be a great thing if you're like, oh yeah, I was a cashier at McDonald's, but I actually, brought about this or I learned these skills from there. That would be cool too. But the main focus, you want to focus on like the jobs and things that you're part of that are relevant to the position that you want, the position that we talked about for the check-in question, or your current position. So yeah, let me go back. I cannot believe it. I have not updated it. It's because I haven't been putting my 10 minutes to work on it every day or weekly. I honestly let it sleep until I started working on this workshop. I was like, wow, I thought I was good at LinkedIn, but I'm not that great. But it's okay. There's always space to learn. So again, your turn to work on your experience and your education. I'm gonna give y'all, I put 8 minutes. I don't know if you need 8 minutes, but I'm gonna give you the 8 minutes. And when you're done, if you're done before 8 minutes, just put your thumbs up so I kind of see when we're all done. And then also put any certifications here. Let me show you mine. I like you could get certifications with like city, like with the school. Look, like I have the certification for doing research with children. You could actually connect it to LinkedIn. Oftentimes when you're doing like online trainings and stuff, always make sure to see if it gives you the option to link it to your LinkedIn, or anything you do, if it gives you the option to link it to your LinkedIn, it's going to show up like this or somewhere on your LinkedIn, and it looks really, really good. So I'm going to go ahead and give you all those 8 minutes, y'all, and play some jams again. Do you all have any questions about that part? All right, so I'm gonna start the 8 minutes. And just put a thumbs up when you're done. And if you have any questions, again, feel free to ask me. Got a little less than a minute left, y'all. So start wrapping up your last sentence, bullet point, paragraph, whatever it is. And we're gonna move on. All right, got about 30 seconds left. Is everyone feeling okay? Okay, so we're gonna be wrapping up with that. Okay, next thing, y'all. Thank you so much for doing that. Let's move on to the next part. We got a lot to get through. Lastly, work on your skills and recommendations. Okay, that's actually the last part. Yeah. So your skills and recommendations. There's that feature on LinkedIn which I showed y'all. The skills. Okay, they give skill quizzes on LinkedIn. Like you see right here where it says take skill quiz. You could take those. They offer up to like you could have up to 50 skills on your skills thing, but it is recommended to choose a few skills so that when people look at your skills, they really notice those. Like, so choose the skills that are actually relevant instead of just trying to be skilled in everything, because that way, like, you'll be taken more seriously. And also, like, back to the keyword thing, it does come up when they look up skills, you will come up. So if it's just better to have a few focused ones, right, show up right there versus like many skills, because then it's kind of hard to figure you out. It's like, okay, what are you good at? What are you sure you're really good at that? I don't know. You know, like, because it's easy. Anyone could take the skill quiz and have the skill. So just choose the ones that are relevant. That's the tip for that. And then you're also going to see there, it says endorsed by Orlando Haynes. People can endorse you for the skills. So let's say, for example, like my supervisor who just left, if he sees my skill on, let's say, advising, he could endorse that because he knows I'm good at advising. And that way it's more credible. Like, it's not just me saying I'm good at this, there's someone who's backing me up. And the thing about this too, anyone can endorse you. You could endorse your friend and people like won't know, you know what I mean? It looks better when it's like someone of like a higher position or someone who you work with, of course. But like, if you just want to have some endorsements, you could endorse your friends, endorse each other, you know what I mean? And that way it hypes your account up and it looks better. If you're in a workspace or in an organization, I highly advise you to ask your peers to endorse you on these things because you work together and it's credible, especially if you both have on your LinkedIn that you work in the same place or are in the same space. That way, if people want to look into you like that, they'll see that. They're like, okay, wow, they really are good at this skill. And a lot of people believe so. You get me? So that's something I just learned about like a few weeks ago. And I got endorsed by a random person called Raul. He endorsed me for all the skills. And I don't know him, but I'm grateful because I go to his LinkedIn and he has so many, like 5,000 connections, and he's very skilled. Like, his resume is crazy, but he's a fellow Latinx. So I believe that's why he endorsed me, you know, like solidarity and stuff. And so it's very important that we've got each other's back with like the endorsing. Um, yeah, that was, any questions about that? You could take the skill quizzes for skills you want, and that way it'll show up there as a skill. It's pretty easy, pretty fast. Whenever you have free time, you know, in those 10 minutes of daily LinkedIn or whatever, if you ever have free time, go ahead and add a skill or add something to your account, or go endorse your friends, you know? And usually if you endorse someone, they might endorse you back, like most likely. And for recommendations, don't be shy. Ask for recommendations. Again, like, ask your peers, ask your supervisors or people you work with more so, like your higher ups would be better. But if you're part of an organization, ask your advisor, any sort of mentor, faculty advisor you have, a teacher, anyone. Ask them for a recommendation or endorsement on the skill or just an overall recommendation, because people can write you recommendations on LinkedIn and it'll show up on your account. Like anyone will be able to read your recommendation. So that cuts the process of hiring way faster because, you know, you don't have to just turn in the recommendation. It's there already for everyone to see. And you could set that up on LinkedIn. As you see, these are examples of recommendations. And I'm gonna be talking a little faster because we've got like 3 minutes left and I want to respect your time. But you see these people, they got these recommendations and you see how it says CL pending. You could request someone to recommend, like write you one. You could put a little pencil or a little ad and you send someone a request like, hey, can you write me a recommendation and say this about me? If you pre-write a recommendation for someone and let them know what you want them to talk about with you, it'll make it easier for them, it'll make it faster for them, and more likely for them to write your recommendation because it's already written out for them. You get me? So don't be afraid to do that, especially with people you work with. It's very good, and more than likely they'll say yes if you already have it like written out, like what you want them to say about you. So that's a trick too. And lastly, I just wanted to end with, let's all connect. Everyone here, if you're willing to and comfortable with, I think we should all connect on LinkedIn if we haven't already, and just make sure to keep in touch. But that's really all I had prepared for this presentation. There's a bunch of other things with LinkedIn, but this is like the starter pack. But yeah, do y'all want to connect? I'll put my link in the chat. I had a quote too. In order to succeed, we must first believe that we can. And I believe that you all can. And I hope that you all believe that you can too, because you really can. And yeah, if you have any further questions, come to drop-ins or email eop.pals@ucsc.edu. We're going to be having info sessions for the position that I'm working as right now. On Monday and Tuesday next week, 3 to 4 p.m. Feel free to drop in. It's not mandatory to get the position. You don't have to come to the info session, but if you had more questions about the position, you could come. I'm going to be there on Monday. And my position, I advise students and I host workshops like this. I'm also going to be hosting an inner child healing workshop next week on Wednesday from 3 to 4:30. If you RSVP, the first few people are gonna get journals and pens, and I'm probably gonna have extra fidget toys, so you will get that. It's gonna be on Zoom, but there'll be like the pickup option, so feel free to RSVP on that. It's gonna be on the EOP UCSC Instagram or the EOP newsletter. But yeah, if y'all are comfortable, feel free to put the link for your LinkedIn on the chat, so we could all go ahead and make at least like, we've got like what, 6 people here? 6 new connections today, or 5. 5 new connections today. Got our LinkedIn popping. So let me put my LinkedIn in there. 2. Because once you start making more connections, more people are recommended and just random people are going to start connecting with you and it's going to be great. Here, let me put it in. All right. Where is the chat? Oh, there it is. Perfect. Any final questions? All right, I'm gonna stop the recording now.